Welcome to another episode of Webinar Wednesday. Today we're talking about Amazon Australia. Helium 10 has recently announced that they are now available for Amazon Australia. So if you are based in Australia, stick around. We're going to have Bradley Sutton join us very soon. But before we bring Bradley on, we've got Cameron Allen over here with us, who's going to be talking about e-commerce mindset. Hi, Cameron. How's it going?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Really
well, we're good, Cameron. Yeah, really good. Good to see you again, mate.
Thanks for having me again.
Pleasure.
Yeah, most welcome. And we are so excited about your upcoming workshop, Cameron. I can't even tell you. I think this is just going to be a game changer. It's an industry's first mindset workshop for Amazon sellers. I'm totally looking forward to it. Not only excited about how it's going to help other people, but how it's going to help me.
That was the feedback I got last time from you three. Mainly was, oh my goodness, my to-do list has changed. Oh my goodness,
I'm
getting clear.
Well. I'm keeping it under control now. I keep feeling bad, and I stop and I go, "No, Cameron said," and off I go, and I do things that I can't be bothered doing. So it's working.
Love it.
That's awesome. So, Cameron, first of all, tell us, why is mindset important for Amazon and e-commerce sellers? Why is it important, and why do they find it difficult to maintain a positive mindset?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that I've found in this space, and to be honest, I never intended on doing work with Amazon sellers. That was never my intention when I went into the coaching space, but it just so happened that I fell into that space, and a lot of my clients came from that arena. And I think there's a reason why, and that is because if you've been in a traditional job, or you've never really stepped into your entrepreneurship journey, and then you jump into Amazon, you're dealing with so many moving parts. You're dealing with not just the fact that you've got to learn Amazon and you've got to learn how to source and all that sort of stuff, but in general, when you're starting any business, you're going to come up against some of your biggest fears just by default, because purely in the sense that you start an Amazon business, you're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to reach out to people. You're going to have to face the possibility of failure. You're going to have to face the possibility of a lot of success. All of these things that you might not have had to face in whatever you were doing before Amazon, you wouldn't have had to face those things because you weren't putting yourself into that position. So the thing that I believe is that mindset's important in this space, because you're changing the way you think. You're not just, I'm going to hope and get a product that works. When you step into any business, and especially this business, you have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you deal with challenges. You have to be self-motivated. Like, there's no one telling you what to do. You go your whole life through school, through early childhood, then through school, then through a job or uni. That whole time, you've got someone telling you what to do. You've got someone giving you deadlines. You've got someone saying, these are your KPIs at your job. You don't have that anymore. You need to be intrinsically motivated, and you need to, along with that, face all those fears and consequences and challenges in a different way. And that is usually when a lot of people come to me, is when they're in the middle of all that and they're like, how do I move through this? Because it's not just about pushing through it. It's about changing your mindset so that anything that comes your way is a lot easier.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So guys watching, let us know in the comments, how important you think is mindset. I mean, all of you are, of course, Amazon sellers, but post your comments here. Let us know, do you think mindset is important, and do you find it difficult to maintain a positive mindset in your business? So Cameron, you specifically, you work with all types of entrepreneurs, of course, but more recently you've been working with a lot of Amazon sellers. So, tell us of, maybe a recent seller that you've helped build a positive mindset, and what sort of impact did they see on their business after you helped them?
Yeah, so to start off with, I'll just say that I have worked with and work with currently people who are starting a business in this space, people who are they might have a product live, or people who I work with a couple of people who have done $1 million in sales in a year. So there's a wide range of people that I work with. And the first thing I'll say to that question is, if you've got fear within you, or if you've got something that's happened in the past that you associate pain with, or you haven't processed or moved through, then it doesn't matter what part of the journey you're at. That fear or that discomfort within you will always be there. And I think some people have this illusion that, oh, I'm starting out and it's hard now, but when I get to like $10,000 a month, or when I get to this, then it'll all be fine. So I won't worry about my mindset. I'll just hope for the best. And that's just completely not true. And I think to start off, before I answer that question, I just want to tell everyone who's listening, check in with the bigger reasons why you're even doing this business. Because when it comes to mindset, sometimes when at a deeper level, if we're doing this business to like prove to our mum or prove to our friends that we can be successful, if that's the case, and I've worked with a lot of people like that, even when you're making $100,000 a month or whatever, there's no fulfillment, because the motivation in the first place was coming from this place of I want to prove someone wrong, or I want to prove to myself that I can be successful. So once you've done that, once you've hit that certain milestone, then there's nothing motivating you, because the thing in the first place is gone. You've already proved to yourself the thing you wanted to. So now there's nothing motivating you. It leads to, this is a lot of people say, there's millionaires out there who aren't fulfilled, for example, which is true. And the reason for that is the motivation wasn't, to serve or to make an impact or solve people's problems in their home through an Amazon product. It was maybe coming from a different place. So that's the first point I would make there. Like, for everyone listening, like, identify the bigger reasons why you're doing what you're doing. There could be very good reasons for doing an Amazon business. You may want more life balance, more time with your kids, more impact, etc., more creativity. Those are all wonderful things. But if there's anything motivating you that's not really going to serve you long term, then that's going to be a problem in the future. So as for your question, so I recently worked with someone who had basically a product that was sitting stranded in Amazon, and they're due to a previous experience of failure, or not necessarily a failure, but a situation that wasn't beneficial to my client, in the sense they lost some money, they lost some traction, they lost some momentum. So then because of that previous experience, there was a lot of fear to basically there were 3 little tasks that my client had to do to get her other listing, which was she had in inventory, to get it back online, basically. And I identified with, this is another thing I'll do in the workshop, is help people identify the very things holding them back, because we're not always aware of it. We have those to-do lists that we have things at the bottom that we don't do, and we're not really aware of why that's happening. So identifying why it's happening is important. So I helped my client identify why that was, and it turns out, without her even realizing it, there was over $5,000 worth of inventory in there, and it wasn't a listing that she was going to keep pushing. She just needed to sell it out. But because of the previous experience and fear, there was this underlying avoidance to do any of it. So I helped my client break through that fear, as in, when I say breakthrough, I mean get awareness. If you get awareness of why you're not doing something, you're 90% of the way there to make a change. Then you just have to decide, okay, I'm letting that go. That was in the past. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again in the future. So that's all we did in one session. And then my client did exactly what she needed to do within a day, and the product sold out within, I think it was 2 weeks. So that $5,000 then came in as a result. Okay, so long term, that's, she's not pursuing that product anymore, so it's not a cash flow thing, but there was money just sitting there basically, and there was no awareness of why those tasks weren't being done. So I think that's a really good example, because for anyone listening, if you're in any business, and if you're in an Amazon business, there's a potential that you're going to be avoiding certain things, and you may justify it in your mind. Oh, I've got other things to do. I'll get to that later. But what's the bigger reason? There's sometimes bigger fears, bigger situations that you've dealt with in the past that are holding you back in the future, or now moving forward. And to get awareness of that could double someone's business. To get awareness of some of the little things they're not doing, and they just decide to let go of that could double someone's business easily, or it could bring them more fulfillment easily. And what I said before about checking in with why exactly are you doing this business? If there are things motivating you that aren't going to serve you long term, if you just let go of those motivations and go, yeah, I do want to do this business, but now I'm doing it to serve people. Now I'm doing it to solve people's problems because that feels really good. Now I'm doing it to be creative because I'm a creative person, and in my job I can't be creative. That person's going to get a whole new level of motivation, because it's a completely different motivation. They're still going to do the business, but it'll be coming from a different place.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So Facebook user says, entrepreneurial is a blessing despite of pains and challenges. That's very true. I'm so glad I made the switch from my corporate job to being an entrepreneur. It's not always easy, but it's definitely more fulfilling. Carol says, mindset is everything. Prabhu says, very true. Mindset is very important. As Alan said, no one is dictating us what to do. There are not set of rules or SOPs on how we run a business, so staying motivated even without seeing immediate results is very important. And having a positive mindset does help go through the lows. Absolutely. And Margaret, you deal with so many Amazon sellers every day, right? And you've seen Amazon sellers like in the highs and the lows. So what do people...
It goes up and down. Yeah. It's one of those, you're doing really well and your sales are going well, and then all of a sudden something happens and you don't know what it is, and I'm not going to do this anymore. I've had Amazon and people it's like a roller coaster, really. I think and most people find that. Even look, if you've got something that's going really well, something's always going to happen that just throws you down a bit, and then you've got to work out, I think, your way to get over that again, because it's going to be a roller coaster, I think, for even if you're selling $1 million, you've probably still got something, or somebody's chasing you, trying to shoot you down in flames and get you out of their way. So I think it's not. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm right now. I don't need to worry about that," because I think it's an ongoing thing forever. I'd be right, Cameron.
you make a really good point, and it's not necessarily, it's harder at the start or it's harder in the middle. If you've got $1 million of inventory in America in Amazon, that's going to bring up a lot of fear, a lot of questions, and then that then you're going to look into all the stories. Oh, someone came along and sabotaged my listing. Someone came along and left competitors came along and did this. There's all these stories, and I know all about it, of your Amazon taking my listing down. When you've got $1 million on the line and Amazon takes your listing down, and you're sitting here in Australia emailing them. Well, I know some of your viewers are in America as well, but you're basically... I think the reason the workshop is going to be really powerful, and what we're talking about is really powerful, is there is a lot of uncertainty within this business model. If in any business, if you're basing everything on one platform or one system, then there's a lot of expectation that system would always be working. So that's why, like Margaret said, the people are up 1 minute and then Amazon does something, or their sales go down dramatically for some reason they don't know, and then they're on that roller coaster. And I think, yeah, with Amazon, that's what I found. I'm not saying no one should do Amazon. I think it's absolutely brilliant, but the I guess the consequence of it is, if you've got all of your eggs in that basket, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of that's what I mean about what we talked about before, about why is mindset important for an Amazon seller. It's exactly that reason. You're on Amazon and you're dependent on a system, and a system working as well.
And I think it's just every business. I mean, look, you could have a retail, shop in a strip, but I mean, you might be sitting there for 2 days waiting for a customer, and that register's not ringing over. It's exactly the same thing. I think no matter, if any business you're running, you've got your highs and your lows, you've got customers, you've got, the same issues. It's not just related to Amazon. I think it's anyone who's in any form of business.
Yeah, and I think what the point you touched on there, Margaret, before, which was really important, was like I say, I'm a mindset coach, but also it's mainly emotional. It's mainly emotional coaching. And what you said before about people are feeling really great 1 minute, and then all of a sudden it's down and they're on that roller coaster. If you can be emotionally intelligent, if you can stay composed in a challenging situation, if you can stay centered within yourself and know that you can handle any challenge, that's emotional intelligence. It's mindset, but it's also just really, it's playing that long-term game in business, knowing that those little moments are going to be glitches on the chart in 5 years, knowing that your vision is way stronger than that moment where something happens to your listing or your sales go down. You're bigger than that moment, and your mission and vision for your business is bigger than anything that's happening in that moment.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So Cameron, tell us about the workshop. It's starting this Friday. If you're in the US or North America, it's starting this Friday evening for you. If you're in Asia and Australia, it's Saturday morning. So tell us about the workshop and what can people expect to gain out of it?
Yeah, so I guess without giving the whole thing away, I would say that if people feel like they could be doing more or have more momentum within their daily activities, then this is the workshop for them. And they know there's something more. They know that they could be making better progress or moving quicker or have a better process as well, a daily process to make inroads into their bigger dreams and goals within this business. Then what I'm going to do basically is, we all have that vision. We all have that idea and this feeling of, I'm on the beach with my kids and I'm on Seller Central a couple of times a day just checking things, and everyone's got that beautiful vision of their business. And as entrepreneurs, we all know that that's probably, not the case. And what I've found is even if you scale your business and you do more group stuff, like for me, I do more group stuff now, it's not like I want to work less. I love what I do, so I'm going to just do more and more and more. It's not about getting that time back. But without a doubt, people have beliefs that don't match their vision. People have these, and sometimes they're subconscious beliefs. Sometimes they're based on something that happened 10 years ago. And we have these beliefs. Oh, well, Gary Vee can do it and not me. Or they might be in a group of Amazon sellers and, oh, those people can do it, but not me. Or they might say to themselves, yeah, you can do it, but deeper down, they don't believe that. So I'll be helping people match their vision with their beliefs at a deep level, not just, I'm going to do it. It's like, no, what are the beliefs you need to have to move forward into that? And if people listening haven't been through any seminars or any workshops like this before, there will be a high amount of emotion when you create those beliefs, because when we're young, when we're kids, the more the emotion that's involved in the experience, the stronger the belief is. Like if we're a young child and we try to do something and someone yells at us, we're scared or where we feel ashamed, whatever it is, we create most of our beliefs in those moments. Like, don't bother, you'll never be successful, or whatever it is. If people have any underlying beliefs like that, I'm going to go through a process to help people identify what those beliefs are, which is really powerful. If you procrastinate, if you're a perfectionist, if you have self-doubt, if you are not quite aligned to your vision, then that process alone will be worth the time to be there. And then I'm going to basically give people a clearer pathway to their vision. So that's not necessarily about strategy, because this is the thing with what I'm doing. Most people probably want to just focus on the strategy. Who do I contact? What suppliers are the best? What products are the best? All that sort of stuff. That's all strategy. It's not very sexy to do the mindset stuff, right? It's like, oh, I'll just do the strategy because I just take these steps. But what if along those steps, what if along that pathway, there's some things that really make you feel uncomfortable and you want to just avoid? Oh, I hope I don't have to do that, or maybe I'll put that off. There's going to be things like that I'll help people get, once again, identify. If you don't identify what's in your way, then you'll never change it. And the same old behaviors will keep showing up, the self-doubt, the procrastination, etc. That will all keep showing up until you identify those pain points along that pathway. So I'll give people a lot of clarity. And what happens is, once you get that clarity, which is what I talked about in my previous client, she got clarity over what was holding her back. That was 90% of the work done. Because, oh my goodness, that is costing me $5,000. That old belief, I got to get rid of that. And then once you get clarity, the momentum comes from there. So my vision, and I've done these workshops before, I know the results people get. It's very clear that if you show up, if you turn your phone off and you have your notepad there and you involve yourself in the process, then yeah, you'll get a lot of clarity and a lot of momentum and a lot of awareness of what's holding you back.
Yeah. So guys watching, if you have any questions about mindset or anything else that's related, feel free to type them in the comments. We're going to get Bradley next to talk about Amazon Australia, but we have Cameron with us for a couple more minutes. So let us know if you have any questions. If you have any questions about the workshop as well, feel free to type them in the comments. We'll be happy to address them. So this is the URL for the workshop, theasianseller.com/mindset-workshop. It's a 3-hour workshop that starts on Friday evening or Saturday morning, depending on where you're joining from. It's very interactive. It's hands-on. We also have a Telegram group. So everybody will join a Telegram group and you'll be able to engage directly with Cameron and ask him any questions that you might have. And he'll be answering questions up to a week after the workshop in the Telegram group, so that whatever he's taught you during the workshop, if you go back and implement that, and if you have any questions or you run into any issues, you can come back into the Telegram group and ask Cameron for clarifications or any questions that you might have. So all of our workshops are very interactive, engaging. We encourage people to participate and we encourage people to get their questions answered, and we make sure that everybody's questions are answered. In fact, all of our workshops run over the time that we have specified, because we make sure that everyone's questions are answered and everyone is happy after the workshop ends. So this is not going to be any different. It's going to be really wonderful. And I think, Cameron, sometimes people don't realize that they need to hear these things, that they need to improve on their mindset. I think, and that's, talking from personal experience, I think that, I'm good with mindset. I'm a very positive person. I'm a cheerful person. I can do this business. I can take on anything. I'm a strong woman, But then when I spoke to you and I was like, oh my God, no, I need help. I'm breaking inside.
It's very interesting. And like I said before, I work with people that are doing very well, and it doesn't mean they don't need any more work on their mindset, because as you evolve as a person as you go to different layers and levels in your business, like you guys are, you're doing amazing things. As you're going and impacting more people, you have to become a new person every single time. You have to change your identity. You have to change your mindset every single time. And it's not I'll do this and then this, then that, then I'm done. You know, Gary Vee has a coach, Tony Robbins has a coach, Jeff Bezos has a coach. They all have coaches, right? They all know the power of, if you're just in your own little world, and that's what I really want to get across here. I know I've got to go, but if you're just in your own little world and you're doing your little thing and you're making a bit of progress, there's so many invisible layers around you of beliefs, of decisions you've made, of your identity, of your values, that are just, all these invisible layers are just impacting you. Some are positive, some are negative. And that's all it is. And for what is it, $97 in 3 hours, that's what I would say to people. This is very much a no-brainer to me. Like, I just feel like it's so powerful. And I can't wait for it.
Exactly. I mean, people pay top dollar, like hundreds of dollars per hour for this kind of, in-depth discussion. So definitely. Alan, good to see you. How are you doing? No golf today.
Yeah, no golf, Alan, hey? No, he's probably on his way. He's probably just popping in.
Hi, Trish. Good to see you here. Kristen, good to see you too. So, Kevin is having some issues with his camera, so he's trying to fix those issues. And we hope, Kevin, you can join us if you're listening. So, guys, definitely check out the workshop, theasianseller.com/mindset-workshop. And Cameron, you've been doing these workshops, for other, on your own as well in the past, right? So this is not the first time that you've done this sort of a workshop. And what has sort of been the response from previous workshops that you've done?
Well, this workshop it's very similar to one I did a few weeks ago, but it's tailored to Amazon sellers. So another thing I'll just quickly add is I actually will do what's called an intervention in the workshop. So as you said, it's interactive. I will actually talk to people about what's holding them back, and I will help them personally identify and get rid of it, change that in the moment. That's how powerful coaching is. So the results from the last workshop were profound. People had huge moments of realization. I gave people at least 2 results in that workshop. So at least 2 really clear changes that they were going to make in 3 hours. As in, going into the workshop, they didn't even know what was holding them back. And in that workshop, I helped them identify what the problem was, where it was coming from, and how to change it. So they were 2 clear outcomes for those workshops. And I've got 15 testimonials from 2 weeks ago where people have basically said they've completely changed their daily routine. They've completely changed how they approach business now. So,
Awesome. Cameron, we are so excited about this workshop. I cannot tell you how excited I am, really. So
Megala just wants to do it for herself.
I just want to do it for myself, yes.
Love it.
Okay, so great. We will see you on Saturday morning, Cameron. And really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. And I look forward to the Helium 10 discussion.
Yes, we've got Bradley waiting backstage.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let us get Bradley Sutton on the stage now. Hi, Bradley.
Hello.
Hello.
Bradley,
How are you doing?
Not good.
Oh, what happened?
I'm not going to be able to do much today. I spilled coffee over my entire desk, and now my keyboard does not work. So I was like, touch screen, trying to at least get on here. My mouse is broken, but I'm here. I was able to somehow sign on here, but here we are.
That's great.
Wow. Okay. Yes, you're here. That's what's important. Alan is saying, "How good is this?" So Bradley,
that's not the exact phrase. It's how cool is that? Not how good is this?
How cool is that? Yes. Did you like the title of the webinar, Bradley? I used "Crush It." How to crush it on Amazon Australia.
I like that.
Cool. Okay, so big news, huh? So Helium 10 is available for Amazon Australia, finally, after so many sellers have been asking for this. So first of all, are all the tools available, or is it only a certain number of tools
Just
that are available?
a certain set one to start. Like you should be able to see profits data. As far as keyword research goes, you've got Magnet, you've got Cerebro, you've got Trendster. For product research, you've got the different tools in Black Box for products, Black Box for keywords. Those work as well for it. Those are what we're starting with, and then we'll, as with when we enter any new marketplace, we'll check the feedback from everybody, and then see where the demand is for the rest.
Okay, and so I mean, you decided to open up Helium 10 for Amazon Australia. Was that because you were seeing an increase in sales on the platform, or why did you decide to go ahead and open it up?
I mean, every single Amazon marketplace is on the roadmap. For us, it's not like, oh no, we're never gonna do it for there. But what determines the order is kind of like based on the emails and feedback we get. So yes, there were a few people asking for Australia, but still it's been predominant Europe, is what people were asking for. So we really concentrated there. But then, as we launched new marketplaces, we did Netherlands and things like that. Last year we did Mexico across the board. Well, that was Australia was always next in line there. So that's what we've seen. And it's especially for people from Europe and America, it's a no-brainer as long as they get their product isn't restricted or something in Australia, but just at least the language barrier. No, it's not like Japan where you've got to hire somebody to translate and figure out what the heck is going on, how to read your PPC reports and things like that. I mean, if you speak English, obviously it's going to be pretty easy to expand in places like India and Australia.
Yeah. And hope Singapore is next on your radar.
Singapore's on the radar. I mean, everything, like I said, everything's on the radar, even non-Amazon, like we have, I'm not even sure if anybody noticed, but 2 days ago, a new version of our Chrome extension launched in the Google Chrome store. And so like you could be on Etsy. Now it's showing you not Etsy data, but like, let's say you type in coffin shelf on Etsy, and I would show you right now, but I just tried it right now on my keyboard. Like I can do the letters R and A and D, but about everything else, that's about it. But anyways, I could type in coffin shelf on Etsy, and then just like I can use it on Alibaba.com, the Helium 10 Chrome extension, I can be on Etsy. I'm like, all right, hey, look at these interesting results on Etsy for coffin shelf. Is there demand for coffin shelves on Amazon? Instead of having to go to Amazon and then run Helium 10 and this and that, no, right there on the Etsy page, hit the Chrome extension, boom, I'll see the demand. I'll see the top products on Amazon for coffin shelf or whatever I searched for on Etsy. And so Shopify as well. You can do that on any Shopify website now too. You can use Helium 10 Chrome extension. So Australia is just the beginning. We're trying to branch out to whatever everybody wants functionality for.
Awesome. Alan says, I did not want to get sued.
Well, why was he going to get? Oh, he was going to get sued because of the copyright, huh?
Okay, but does it speak Australian? Does
of course might. Now, yeah, so I know that's a joke, but that's actually an interesting point. And I mentioned about how important it is for, or how relatively easy it is, a no-brainer for Americans and Europeans to expand to countries like India and UK and Australia. However, that being said, there's a reason why we don't have just some like Google Translate inside of Helium 10 tools, because you don't just translate listings from one language to another. Even when we're talking about American English to British English or to Australian English or to Indian English, you don't just copy your listing. You have to do the keyword research in that marketplace, even if your native tongue is the same language that they speak in that country. And that's why we focused on Cerebro and Black Box. I've done slides before where collagen peptides is an example, where if you take the top keywords for collagen peptides, the top related keywords that have the most search volume for USA, Canada, and UK, 3 English-speaking countries, and then you add in Spain, let's just say, something that's not English-speaking. Well, in the 3 English-speaking countries, the top 5 keywords is not the same order, and some of them are not even the same. And then you throw in the Spanish one, and then you translate those Spanish words back to English. It's not the same. Like the number 1 keyword in America for collagen peptides is actually collagen powder, and in Spain it's collagen with magnesium. So like for whatever reason in Spain, people who are searching for collagen peptides are looking for only the supplement that has magnesium added to it, which is not even on the top 50 keywords in US, Canada, or UK. Conversely, in the UK and Canada, collagen powder is not the most searched keyword that's related to collagen peptides. So when you guys, if you're an American and wanting to sell on Amazon Australia, if you're in Australia, you've got an Amazon Australia listing, you want to go the other way, go to America, even though your English is in English on both sides, don't just copy and paste. Do the research to make sure that you're focusing on the best keywords, because the best keywords in one marketplace, not only is it not always the same, it's usually not the same when you go to another marketplace.
Too, the spelling is quite often very different. I mean, I know this sounds stupid, but I tend to type a lot of American spelling when I'm in Australia now, because you get so used to doing it on Amazon, because you have to go really and say, what does Americans call this, or how do they say that? Because it's really different to Australia in lots and lots of. And the other day, I actually came across in Amazon, you don't use a period, and I'm thinking, what symbol's that? It was a full stop. I had to Google it to find out what it was, because we just call it a full stop. But you obviously don't call it a full stop, Bradley.
Or just something, even punctuation. Like, hey, my product has 1,000 milligrams of caffeine or whatever. Well, you'd probably die with 1,000 milligrams of caffeine, but whatever is 1,000. Like in some countries, like in America, it's a comma, 1,000, and then in other countries, it's like a period or a dot. So like, there's just little things that everybody needs to make sure that do not just copy and paste listings from one marketplace to the other, even if it's in the same language.
Okay, here's a question. When did Helium 10 start in Australia, and how accurate is it?
Yeah, so it's been maybe 1 week. 1 week we've had it. We've had it for our Helium 10 Elite members for about 3 or 4 weeks. And so we always try and release things first to a smaller group, just to make sure there's no major issues, and our Helium 10 Elite users got first crack at it a few weeks ago, and then just about 3-4 days ago we launched it to the rest of Platinum. And as far as search volume, there's no public search volume from Amazon Australia, but we have an algorithm that can estimate it. And so just like with any marketplace, with any tool, not even talking about Helium 10, if you're ever wondering about the accuracy of search volume, you're never going to know for sure, because again, there's nothing to compare it to in Amazon. But the one thing that you can compare it to, and usually, at least in my experience, Helium 10 is like at least 95% accurate, is if you have brand analytics in one of these marketplaces, you can see the order of what is most searched. And it's not a number, it's not a search volume number. But then, like I said, at least 95% of the time, when I cross-reference Helium 10 search volume, so like in other words, if keyword A says 1,000, keyword B is 500, keyword C is 250, well, if I were to look in brand analytics, usually that keyword A is like ranked 10, and the other one is maybe 40, and the other one is 60. Only maybe 5% of the time you might see some deviation there. So as far as that goes, it's pretty accurate.
Okay, cool. Roz is saying, great to hear about Helium 10 here. So guys watching, let us know in the comments if you sell on Amazon Australia. If you do sell on Amazon Australia, type in yes in the comments. Let's see how many people actually sell on Amazon Australia. And Mark, you used to sell on Australia previously, right? But you've stopped now. So
we stopped.
What happened?
We sold very early. We only sold probably the first 6 months or something when it very first started, and it was very slow. So we just didn't bother bringing stock back. But looking at the stats now, it's really starting to take off. I mean, I was just sort of looking before, and Amazon Australia's turnover has doubled from 562 million to 1.1 billion in 12 months. So that, it's sort of quite, substantial. So it's growing at a very fast rate. And I think Amazon's really pouring the dollars in here now. Like we're doing a big warehouse it's going to actually be the largest warehouse in the Southern Hemisphere, the Amazon warehouse that's opening up in Sydney, which is due to open at Christmas. So, and that's huge. That's like, they say something like 24 rugby fields is the size of the warehouse, and it's all done with robotics. So it's like they obviously feel that it's well worth investing big dollars here, because I think we've got 6 warehouses now. We've got Perth, Brisbane, I think we've got 2 in Sydney, 2 in Melbourne, and they're just building a new warehouse at Tullamarine for oversized storage here, just near our airport as well. So I think the dollars are flowing in, and there was a report in the news that they're saying by 2030 that Amazon will dominate Australian, retail on e-commerce well and truly. So it's, I think it's slow to start, and people have got to learn. I think it's something new, and Australia wasn't really, I don't think, big on buying on the internet before, and it's making people, I think COVID has probably helped, because everyone started shopping on the internet, and I think that's been the reason why Australia's now become a lot more lucrative sort of market to go to. So I think in the next 12 months, Amazon is probably, for the right product, you obviously, once again, got to still do your research, because just because it's working in America doesn't mean to say it's going to be working here. We do like different things as well. Oh, Margaret Ennis has just written, Bradley doesn't understand the term rugby.
I'm not that uncultured. Come on, Margaret.
Bradley, you have to spend a couple of weeks in Australia now once things open up.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's actually, I got my second vaccine finally. So like everybody knows, whoever follows me on Helium 10 message boards and Instagram and stuff, like I would always travel like everywhere back in the day. But that came to a screeching halt. Other than the Maldives, I had to just go to the Maldives to record that one special podcast. But other than that, I haven't gone anywhere like in a year. So got my vaccine already. 2 days later, I took a road trip to Arizona, met some Helium 10 members there. But Australia, I'm not sure, not positive I can get there this year. I don't even know what the situation is over there. If Americans are even allowed. But like in Japan, like I've been wanting to go to Japan, but Americans can't go to Japan right now. But for sure, you guys heard it here first. By next year, if not this year, by next year, I will go to both India and Australia for my first time. Like I've been to 30 countries. I've never been to India or Australia. So mark my word, you heard it here first. I'm going to hang out with Margaret and to hang out with Megal on one of her trips over there to India.
Oh, we might get to the bubble in Singapore, Bradley. They're supposed to be doing a bubble for us to Singapore, so you might be able to come to Singapore. We might be able to do a Singapore thing, yeah?
Yeah, Singapore I've been many times, but not in a while. But I got a lot of friends there in Singapore too. I'm definitely down to go there as well. I've actually been in talks with Amazon Singapore. They've been emailing me, like they heard they listened to the podcast, and they're like, "Hey, Bradley, we need to get more people on Amazon Singapore. Can you guys make can you make a tool really quick? I can't just snap my finger and all of a sudden Cerebro works in Amazon Singapore. I don't even know one line of code. I can do or the bold, the thing, the dash, and then a B right there. That's my HTML coding right there. But I told them, I was like, hey, maybe we can bring you on the podcast or something, because I know Singapore is a lot newer than Australia, but it's also growing. I mean, Amazon everywhere is growing. I would definitely say.
Yeah, Amazon Singapore is very proactive over here. And in fact, they asked me as well, to do an introduction to you. I think I had done the email introduction maybe last year or something. But yeah, they're very proactive, and Amazon is very slowly gaining traction over here. I think Prime is more popular for now. So, and they're really focusing on, they've got this thing called Amazon Fresh, which is for groceries and all of those things. So they've got like 2-hour Prime. So I use that all the time. I don't really buy stuff from Amazon, like regular stuff, because there's not a lot of products available as yet. And there are other marketplaces that are way cheaper, like Lazada and Q10. But definitely, Amazon always plays the long game. So, they're here for the long term, and they're going to wait it out and tire everybody else. And then they're going to emerge to the top, I think.
Yep.
Okay,
we need help from everybody out there who's I didn't notice too many people say that they're selling in Amazon Australia who's maybe live, but hopefully people who watch a replay, guys, if you are watching or if you are selling on Amazon Australia, we need you. I can't help Helium 10 with like, using and testing out the tool because I don't have an account in Amazon Australia. So if any of you guys have an Amazon Australia account, you've got Helium 10, please start using it. Try to break it. It's a new tool. It's not going to be perfect. We want to know what's not working for you, and send in, we have 24/7 support. So please send in screenshots of what you like, what you don't like, what tools you want to see next. Please, if you guys are watching this on the replay, we'd appreciate it. And
Bradley, there's no additional charge for people if they've got a US account. It just flows on.
Yep, that is correct.
The same price.
No additional charge.
That's brilliant.
Here's a question from LinkedIn. So kudos, Bradley. How did you manage to beat the competition in the Amazon sourcing and research tools? I've been using Jungle Scout and others in the past. Helium is rated as one of the top engines.
I mean, if you're just talking in general, like why are we rated higher when we weren't the first, to the party? I don't know. Like we've just been dedicated over the last 2 years. I mean, Megla knows, Megla's seen Helium 10's growth. She's been around, she knew Manny Coates and the founder of Helium 10 years ago. And we just kind of went all in. And we definitely have a good sales team and marketing and things like that. But I think the thing that has always set us apart and why we were able to get the reputation we have now is because our number one thing was making sure the data is good and the functionality was what users wanted, and instead of focusing on like, big shiny things or having a really fancy, one thing people complain about, oh man, Helium 10's not so modern looking, the website, at least the old one, the old one back in the day was kind of like, looked like 2007 or 2013 website or something. But we weren't trying to focus on the pretty, we're like focusing on the data, making sure it's accurate and giving people the functionality, like things that nowadays are finally, after a couple of years, getting more commonplace in the industry, like multiple reverse ASIN and search volume history and tracking competitors and keyword tracker. Like these are all things that we developed first, and it's because we listened to the customers. Like we didn't want to make tools that Bradley thought was good or that Manny Coates thought was good, but it's what the users wanted. And there you have it. That's why we have Amazon Australia now. That's none of us at Helium 10. There's very few of us who sell on Amazon and Helium 10 anyways, but none of us who do have ever had an Amazon Australia account. So it's definitely not to help ourselves, but we're hoping that it helps you guys out there.
Yeah, and Marg, you can add to that. I mean, Marg is Helium 10's biggest fan, I think.
I do, yeah. Well, look, and I just think it's so great. I like things like the inventory planning. So I like those tools as well as, I think everyone looks at, the keyword research, but I find that the other tools in the background are really, really helpful. Like to me now, I can just go, how much stock have I got in my warehouse? How much have I got in Amazon? Mm-hmm. How much have I got coming in? And I can do it in 5 seconds, whereas before I had bits of paper and notes. And I've just found that those things are really invaluable, and people should go a bit further afield and use all those. I mean, you're paying for it, you might as well use them. And once you've got it set up, it's, the inventory thing is a no-brainer. I mean, you can do your orders, you can do everything. So, yeah, I love it. I mean, I just think, for the money you pay for it, like it's pretty good value. And I mean, I didn't realise that you could virtually add countries all around the world, and I thought it'd be another fee, but that's fantastic for people who, want to do 3 or 4 marketplaces. Yeah. It's, you're not outlaying, $400 or whatever. You can, that makes the cost a lot more attractive over the whole thing. So I think it's, fabulous.
Yeah, so it's got all of these tools, but I think one of the biggest advantages also is that Freedom Ticket is absolutely free with Helium 10. So for people who are not aware of that, I mean, Helium 10, Freedom Ticket is a course that's done by Kevin King, who's one of the top e-commerce Amazon sellers in the industry. I've known him for, 4 or 5 years now. And that course is absolutely top notch. So if you're a beginner, sign up for Helium 10 and get Freedom Ticket, go through the course. You'll have a very, very solid foundation on which you can build the business. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Guys, Amazon Australia, if you have any questions, type them in the comments. I think Kevin must have spilled coffee in his camera and microphone. Yeah. Not yet, but it sounds like there's
I don't know what's going on. Amazon Prime kind of failed me. I actually had to order a replacement from Microsoft because for whatever reason, the actual keyboard and mouse that I need, I couldn't find on Amazon. So Amazon failed me in this case, but oh well.
That's no good.
So Margaret Enever is saying, hey, Helium 10 line broke. Helium 10 Australia. Bradley told me to.
No problem at all with that. We love it.
Is there any plan for Helium 10 to support Amazon India? Hey, Sridhar,
Yes.
have you been living under a rock? Amazon, Helium 10.
He has really taken quarantine to a new level. Like he just quarantined himself from the whole world and social media and everything. Yeah, we actually have had Amazon India for quite a while now. I mean, not years, but it's been at least about a year since we launched it, and we actually have more functionality in India than Australia yet, since Australia is so new. But almost across the board, almost all the tools we have work for India right now.
Yeah, so Sridhar, definitely check it out. Okay, until now, the only tool available for research in Australia was ZonGuru. How would you rate Helium 10 versus ZonGuru and the accuracy of the results?
I'm not familiar with that tool, so like I can't say. I've never used it before. And I personally, and this is one thing, this is important. And it doesn't matter if Helium 10's in the conversation, but I never ever compare tool A with tool B, even if Helium 10's tool A or they're completely other tools, because to me that's meaningless. Whatever tool that you're wondering, hey, is this good or not? Don't compare it to another tool because you haven't learned anything. Compare it to Amazon. That's what matters. Compare Helium 10 to what the real data is. Compare tool B to what Amazon real data is, and that's going to get you something. The analogy I always use is like whether we're talking like estimated sales. We're not hacking into people's accounts to try and get their sales. I mean, we're just using an algorithm, just like any other tool company uses an algorithm to estimate sales based on what Amazon publicly displays for BSR. Now, somebody says, "Oh, I subscribe to 3 different Chrome extensions because I want to average it out, and that's what the real number." That's nonsense. Well, you somehow think, Helium 10 has 20 data scientists. These other tool companies, I'm sure, probably have 10, 20 data scientists. Somehow, an average person is going to have some formula that works better than all these data scientists. No, and plus, you still don't know the answer. It's like I always use the analogy of a weather station. Or there's 2 different weather stations, channel 10 and channel 5, right? And then if you ask, hey, which channel 10 keeps saying it's going to be 75 degrees. Oh, that's Fahrenheit. That would kill somebody in other countries. 20 centigrade. Tomorrow. The other one says 25. Which one is more accurate? Well, you don't know because you're just comparing 2 estimates, right? How you know if something's more accurate is in retrospect, you compare it to real data. All right, last week I know what temperature it was every day, and maybe I took a record of what the weather station's forecast was. Now I compare weather station A to Amazon. All right. Oh, it said it was an average of 22, but it really was an average of 20. Okay, it's fairly accurate. But without that real data point, it's pointless to make any comparison between 2 weather stations because it's just, you have nothing to base it on. So it's the same thing that I say with tools. Like I personally never compare Helium 10 to another tool as far as estimations goes, because so what? If tool B says 100 and Amazon says, or Helium 10 says 5, yes, they're different, but who's to say that Helium 10's right? Who's to say that tool B is more close? If you don't have that all-important data point, which is what does the real number say? So I always say, hey, compare Helium 10 to Amazon data, compare another tool, and then don't get 2. Like if you want to just have a sales estimate, stick with Helium 10. If you have another tool and you're happy with it, and you've compared it to Amazon, stick with that. I'll be honest, you don't need Helium 10. If you're happy with a Chrome extension, don't get Helium 10 just because you want to like compare and contrast. Just stick with one. But anyways, I'm not familiar with that company, but if they've been doing Australia, and you can have data points that can verify the validity of the data, then I'm sure it's a great tool.
But I think, too, you can just confuse yourself in the end, Bradley. If you're running, and I know people have got 3 different tools, and they'll say to me, oh, I looked it up on here and I looked it up on there. I mean, you're just wasting time. You might as well just focus on one thing and you're never going to know. You could look up 3 different products and they'll be all different. So by the end of the day, your head's in the spin. So I think, and plus it's more cost effective. You're just throwing more of your profit away all the time by running all these different tools and causing confusion for yourself. I think you've got to stick a path and go down that path and be happy with it. If you don't like it down the track, you change it. You don't run them all. I just think it's just
absolutely. And I was
really
in that boat. I haven't worked at Helium 10. I'm not the founder of Helium 10. I came in a couple of years after it was made. I was on the other side of the coin. I was one of those people who had like 4 or 5 different subscriptions, including Helium 10. As an Amazon consultant, and I didn't realize that I was kind of wasting my money because I was paying all this money because I thought I was smarter than Helium 10 and everybody else. Like, no, I'm going to use Helium 10 for this, but this other tool, let me just take the average. I know exactly that's like the tendency to think like that, but like Marge said, just go with one and you should be good to go.
Totally makes sense. So in terms of Amazon Australia, are there any trends that you've seen, in terms of product categories that are more popular, or any trends or anything to tell people, okay, this is a good product category to start selling in Australia, or anything you want to share about Australia?
One thing I'd be curious about in my limited research in Australia is it seems like there's some definitely opportunity for arbitrage and wholesale. Because a lot of the trending keywords, and that's what you see whenever there's a brand new marketplace. The keywords that have the most search volume are usually branded keywords. People are now just, hey, I buy this toilet paper from the store. Is it on Amazon? Let me see. I can get it in 2 days. Is it on Amazon? So what you see is, instead of coffin shelf or collagen peptides or something being like trending keywords, you see a lot more branded keywords that are the most searched. So to me, that's like a signal that, the wholesale method of selling on Amazon, or arbitrage, or possibly even drop shipping, especially not even having to worry about importing, that could be an opportunity in Amazon Australia. As far as other things, it's kind of like wide open. In America, for example, if you're using Black Box, or in Europe, and if you really want to find something that's kind of new and trending, maybe you'll search for something that has like at least 4,000 searches, and then you do a search in Black Box that says maybe 5 out of the top 10 products, or 6 out of the top 10 products have less than 150 reviews. And if you can find something like that, it could be opportunity. Like that's not very commonplace, because things are most products have been out for a while. It's going to have a lot more than 150 reviews. But if you start doing it, those of you who have Helium 10 and have Australia, start searching. You're going to find that it's still relatively new as far as like from the review standpoint. Like, it is simple to find keywords that have decent search volume, but none of the top products have like more than 500 reviews, or all of them have less than 100. Even like all of them have less than 50. I mean, you're going to see a lot more. So it's a good time to get started on Australia. It's not a big market. You're not going to become a millionaire in selling on Amazon Australia unless you have some like ridiculously wild, amazing new thing, right? But it's a great place to get your foothold, because as Marge said, the Amazon market over there is increasing, and then if you get in right now, your sales are just gonna go up. Coffin shelf we did on Project X in America. At the time, there was nobody who had coffin shelves. Now there's like 20, 30 people who have coffin shelves on Amazon. But guess what? Our sales have not gone down. We are still selling the same amount now as we did when we were the only seller, because the market as a whole now has gone up, and these other competitors just increased visibility to this niche, and we have stayed number one because we were the first. We have the most reviews, and we have the longest history. The Amazon algorithm favors us. So you guys have that opportunity in Amazon Australia. Yeah, maybe you're not going to be able to have laptop lifestyle just by selling on Amazon Australia, but get in there, sell one a day of a product. Guess what? In a year or two, that one a day could now be 10 a day, and maybe you've duplicated that, replicated that, not just duplicated, replicated that like 10, 20 times, and now your 10, 20 sales a day could be 100, 200, or even more, 2 years from now.
Yeah, well, I've just read there, actually, they're saying that a third of all online sales in 10 years will be through Amazon. So that's pretty big for Australia. And I mean,
Wow.
these are all projections, obviously. And I think people, you've got to bear in mind, Australia is about a tenth of the population of the US. So, if you're selling, 100 products a day in America, don't think you're going to bring that product here and sell 100. It's just not going to happen, because we don't have the customers here to warrant that. So I think you've got to, look at what you're doing, and, if you're going to be looking at your other market, and, check out whether it's going to work here, but think you're going to sell, probably 10% of what you're selling in the US on an average, because of that, population alone, without anything else.
Yep.
Yeah. So
100%.
what you get is early mover advantage, I guess.
Exactly.
If you start selling now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Does Bradley have a discount coupon? Yes. So look at the bottom of your screen. You can use the code India10 for 10% off every month. Or if you want 50% off your first month, then use the code India50. But I would recommend to use the 10% to get the 10% off every month. In the long term, it turns out to be it's better in the long term.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's a question from Ankit. I'm an Amazon India seller. I've been using Helium 10 tools, but few tools don't work properly or shows incorrect data in Amazon India. For example, X-Ray, Profit, Refund Genie. Is Helium 10 still doesn't work 100% in India?
Yeah, works 100%. I mean, any tool, if you have any issues, that's why we have 24/7 support. You take screenshots and you submit it, and they'll figure out whatever's happening for you. Profits data that's coming, those aren't estimations or anything. That's just literally taking the reports from your Amazon Seller Central account and putting it into Helium 10. X-Ray, it's not meant to be exact, but if you see something where it's like, we're saying your product has estimated 500 monthly sales, but it really has 50 or something ridiculous like that, that's absolutely the thing that you need to report to our customer service. But yeah, it's we have thousands of sellers on Amazon India. I mean, that's probably one of our most rapid growing marketplaces. And if it wasn't working across the board, there would be outrage, there. So if you have issues yourself, we don't care if it's one person or if there's 10 people who all have the same problem. We'll get it fixed for sure.
Awesome. So guys, we'll start wrapping it up over here. If you have any questions about Amazon Australia, type them in the comments now. Ask Bradley. Unfortunately, Bradley, you couldn't share your screen. I was really looking forward to that. And, that's the fun part where you share your screen and show all the Helium 10 magic happening in real time. So we'll have to get you back again for
that's an excuse for me to come back. Maybe it's Megla who made me spill my coffee just so she knew she can get me back. But actually, I know you're going to invite me back because over the next 2 months, we always get to the point where people are like, wait a minute, there's no way that there's anything else that Helium 10 has to expand. Like we've done inventory, we've done PPC, there's everything. But guys, we've got some ridiculous things in store that you wouldn't even think like a software company should have. I mean, here's one thing. Did you guys know that you can get a virtual Helium 10 credit card? Helium 10 has a credit card now that you can get, and you could get money from your Amazon. Like, let's say you sell on Amazon.com. First of all, number one, don't wait 2 weeks to get your payment. You sell something on Monday. You can get that money on Tuesday and actually spend it on a Helium 10 credit card that same exact day, not waiting the payment. So like, I bet you guys didn't even know we have that. So that's in our Alta. Grow with or helium10.com/Alta. But even if you're not a Helium 10 member, you can apply for that. So we're just kind of like trying to change the game as far as what it means to be in this space. We didn't want to just be known as a keyword tool. So we've got some financial stuff, and that's just scratching the surface. Next, I think in the end of June, I'm already starting this webinar, like a preparation for a webinar, and I'm just like, what? We're launching what? We're doing what? Are you serious? Like, this is real life? So after that, I know Megla will definitely want me to come back and share that with you guys, and I'd be happy to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even Amazon Australia, I think, we'd like to get like a walkthrough and actually show people, because not everybody has access to Amazon Australia. They're not selling on Amazon Australia themselves. So yeah, it'd be nice to get a bit of a peek.
Is it hard for American person to open up in Amazon Australia? Like in Japan, you need to have like at least one local person that you can put as a contact or something. Do you know, do either of you know, like?
I don't think so, no. It's not, I don't think we have those sort of rules here. It's
Okay.
like, I know what you're saying, like in India, you have to be, it's a government rule, you can't have a business. But I'm pretty sure here you can do, you know, open up an account.
Okay, I might have to do that. You'll see maybe some Manny's Mysterious Oddities coffin shelf and Gee's Chicken Coop egg tray in Amazon Australia soon.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look
for
and see how
5-star reviews. I just I would never do that.
Well, your reviews should carry over, should they not?
Yeah, reviews. That's the beauty about Amazon these days is now you don't start from scratch. If you've already been selling in the marketplace, you don't need to ask friends and family for reviews like people used to do in the old days. Is because those reviews, as long as you're using the same ASIN, of course, those reviews will show up. Global reviews they call it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, maybe Marg and you should do like a case study, a Project X for Australia.
Let's do it
together.
Yeah, I'm down. Like I might need help to send some inventory. I'm not sure if I can send directly to Amazon Australia. So yeah, maybe I'll have to send some to Marg to send it in for me.
Send it down. Look, we've got stock in our garage, so yeah, we can add some more.
Has Bradley done a PPC campaign suggestions video that we can learn from?
I haven't personally, but Vince, he's our product manager, our product marketing manager for our PPC ads tool, and he's done plenty. A question I get all the time is, Bradley, do you use the automation? And I don't want to make it sound like the automation is bad. I personally don't use the automation. I'm too much of a control freak when it comes to my Amazon stuff. So I always want to say yes or no. But what I do, my suggestions of in a nutshell, if you're using Helium 10 ads, is I use the 3 campaign strategy where I have one exact campaign, one what's called a research campaign, which is a broad phrase match or a broad campaign, and then an auto campaign. And then those 3 are feeding off of each other. So what I do is on my suggestions, I make Helium 10 give me the suggestion. If I convert 2 sales for one particular search term from an auto campaign, I want it to suggest to me to move that to my broad campaign. Conversely, if I convert twice, I like doing 2 times, not just once, because every now and then there's just completely random things that you might convert for, and it has nothing to do with the product. But it just so happened that, because remember, guys, if somebody searches something and they click on your product for whatever reason, and then they click out from it and they're searching other things and they come back to it, I mean, that original search is still going to get the attribution for that sale on advertising. So I like to use a minimum 2 times, because sometimes if you just do it to one, you'll just have the most random words and you might waste some money. So I have the suggestion to be 2 conversions for one search term for me to go from auto to broad or from broad to exact. And then I also say, please suggest to me to negative match this keyword if I get at least 20 clicks without one sale. 20 clicks without one sale. Or the other one is I usually go up to about 50% of the product price in spend. So if the product costs $20, regardless if I got 20 clicks or not, I want to know if I hit $10 of spend without one sale, because then I want it to suggest to me, hey, you probably should negative match this. And I have a lot of other rules and suggestions, but those are like my core tenets there of I manage almost 175 PPC campaigns right now, and like that's like the basic thing that I have running on all of my PPC accounts.
And where can people find all of the PPC campaign videos? Is that somewhere on the website, or is it in the tool?
Yeah, inside, first of all, in the basic ones, inside the ads tool, there's a button at the top that says learn. You hit that and we've got about 10 videos there. In addition, in Freedom Ticket, we've got tons of PPC videos. We just launched another, Project X video. It wasn't with Tim, but it was with Karen, who works at Helium 10 as well, and also Destiny from another company, Better AMS. We did 2 videos, one on how to do PPC or sponsored video campaigns. We did a whole video on that. And then every single week, there's a PPC feature we have in our Helium 10 members Facebook group. There's either a PPC tip of the week from Vince or a live 1-hour We call it Tacos Tuesday, Total ACOS Tuesday. And you can go on there live and ask Vince questions on anything and everything PPC related.
Right. Okay, here's a question from Roz. Can Aussies definitely get that credit card?
Yeah, it should be. If you've got, I believe they, you've got to be selling on Amazon.com too. And I'm not sure if you have to have an LLC or not. Like, if you're just a person, like regardless if you're American or if you're Australian or whatever, if you're just an individual, I don't think you can apply. But if you have a business, then you can apply. And if you have history on Amazon, then absolutely, you can qualify for that credit card.
We have fair trade agreements with USA, so should be okay to trade here. There are tax agreements between US and Australia. We have no issues with selling in the US. So I think it goes both ways. Our tax offices are best buddies. As long as one of them is getting a share, they're usually
That's always how it works, isn't it?
Awesome. Well, guys, definitely check out Amazon Australia on Helium 10. Use the code India10 for 10% off, or India50 if you want to get 50% off of your first month. And Bradley, thank you so much for your time today. And we will definitely have you back again once your computer is fixed and you have your new non-coffee keyboard.
Yep.
So
absolutely. I'll be
thanks
back.
a lot.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bradley.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you next week for another webinar Wednesday. Bye.
Okay, bye.